Today, I'm going to be busting some of the myths out there. There's the things that you hear, and then there's the reality. Here we go. Myth number one, you should price your home high to leave room for negotiating. Well, here's the truth of that. It really depends on the market conditions, but as a general, just because you ask more doesn't mean that you get more. So it depends on your house, depends on your price point, depends on what's happening in the market. Myth number two, spring is the only good time to sell your home. Well, that is not true. Homes sell all year long. And depending again on market conditions will dictate whether it's actually the best time to sell. But if you took a historical average of when do most people list and when is the greatest volume of home sales, yes, that typically happens in the spring. But it doesn't mean maximum sale price, and it doesn't mean it's the easiest because there's also more competition. So homes sell all year long. Myth number three, you should renovate your house before selling. Well, that one again, it really depends on what it is that you're doing. There are certain updates or renovations that are going to give you a positive return. There are others that aren't. So the biggest thing that's going to return the best return on investment is going to be painting, also finishing off any unfinished projects. But just a general renovation, unless you're a contractor and able to do it at a discounted price, to see a positive return on that is going to be difficult. So best, talk to an agent, get their advice on what's best to do for your specific scenario. Myth number four, your first offer is typically your best offer. And actually, that's not a myth. Over the years, I've found that to be very true that the first offer that comes in usually ends up being your best. And the reason is that time is typically not your friend when you're on the market. And so the buyers that write an offer early, even if it's a little bit less than what you want, it's usually a signal of things to come. So your best buyer and your best offer usually comes first. Myth number five, you don't need a realtor anymore because you can find your home by yourself online. Well, that is definitely a myth. I think as house prices have gone up, and the responsibility, the liability that's involved in purchasing a home today and the cost involved make it more important than ever to have somebody seasoned, knowledgeable, and professional on your side. Just like a lawyer or your dentist or your doctor, it's very important to have the right person by your side to help along the way. Myth number six, you should wait for interest rates to drop before buying. I think what you have to do is look at the long-term average of where interest rates are at. And even though speaking rate today, they're not as low as they've ever been, but they're pretty low. So you could wait forever. I think that the old adage that owning real estate and having time in the market is a way better strategy than trying to time the market. Myth number seven, all real estate agents basically do the same thing and they're all the same, offering the same service. Absolutely not. There is such a difference between real estate agents, and whether they're new in the business or been seasoned, the level of service that you get is going to depend on that agent's own personal standard and care and attention to detail and willingness to help you and find out the information that you need. And it really doesn't matter how long they're in the business. That is not the indicator of how good of an agent they're going to be. But just because they're an agent doesn't mean they're all equal.